I want to ask you something. Tomorrow morning, what is the first thing you're going to eat? Maybe you already know. Maybe it's the same thing it's been for years. The yogurt, the smoothies, the oats, the granola, the coffee, the thing you reach for automatically because somewhere along the way you decided or you believed it was healthy. Now, let me ask you something else. What time did you eat it? Right away? Within the first 30 minutes of waking? Maybe even eating while you're still getting dressed, still half asleep, still in the fog of the morning. Because if you are, and most women are, I need to tell you something that nobody in conventional health and nutrition has probably ever said to you. Eating in the first 90 minutes after you wake up may be one of the most disruptive things you can do to your hormones after 40. I know this sounds backwards. Everything we've been told says eat breakfast, start your metabolism, fuel your body. Don't skip meals. And I'm not saying to skip meals. I'm not talking about fasting all day. I'm talking about a specific window, the first 90 minutes of your morning, and what is happening in your body during that window that most women have absolutely no idea about. I'm Lydia Atlas, Doctor of Natural Medicine, and welcome to the Thriveology Show. Last week, we talked about the breakfasts that are quietly working against your hormones after 40. Today, we're going further because it's not just what you're eating, it's when. And the timing question has everything to do with one hormone that is running your entire morning, whether you know it or not. And that hormone is cortisol. By the end of this episode, you're going to understand exactly what cortisol is doing in the first 90 minutes after you wake up, why eating during that window is working against you, and what to do instead, including what I call the hormone safe morning reset, which is the framework my clients use to finally feel stable, energized, and clear headed through the morning without riding the blood sugar roller coaster. And before we get into it, I want to make sure you have everything you need to actually implement what I'm sharing today. I've put together a free guide called the Puberty Rewind Hormone Reset Guide. It covers your full 30-day morning reset, everything from this episode and everything beyond it. The link is in the description box. Go grab it right now while we're here together, because what I'm about to share is going to make a lot more sense when you have the full roadmap in your hands. Okay, let's talk about cortisol. Most women have heard of cortisol. They know it as the stress hormone. They know high cortisol is bad. They know it's connected to belly fat and anxiety, not sleeping well. But cortisol is not your enemy. Cortisol is one of the most essential hormones in your entire body. Without it, you could not function. Without it, you could not wake up, fight infection, regulate your blood pressure, or respond to any kind of demand, physical or emotional. The problem isn't cortisol. The problem is cortisol at the wrong time, in the wrong amount, triggered by the wrong things. So let me tell you what cortisol is actually doing from the moment your alarm goes off. There is a phenomenon called the cortisol awakening response. It is one of the most well documented hormonal effects in the human body, and most people have never heard of it. In the first 30 to 45 minutes after you wake up, your cortisol levels surge. We're taking a rise of about 50 to 100% above your baseline. This is not a malfunction. This is your body's natural alarm system powering up, gearing up, giving you the fuel to wake up, fully alert, get alert, and meet the demands of the day. Think about it like a rocket ship starting to launch. This cortisol peak is doing several critical things simultaneously. It is mobilizing glucose, pulling sugar from your liver into your bloodstream to give your brain and muscles immediate energy. It is stimulating your immune system, calibrating your cardiovascular system, and sharpening your focus. And it is setting the entire rhythm of your hormonal day. The height of this morning peak and how cleanly it rises and falls determines how your cortisol behaves for the next 16 hours. In a healthy cortisol awakening response, the hormone peaks around 30 minutes after waking and then gradually, steadily declines throughout the day, reaching its lowest point at night so your body can rest and restore. This is the rhythm your body is designed to follow. Now, here is what eating in the first 90 minutes does to that rhythm. When you eat, particularly when you eat carbohydrates or sugar, even natural sugar, your blood glucose rises. In response, your pancreas releases insulin. Insulin tells your cells to absorb that glucose. But here's the conflict. Cortisol is simultaneously telling your liver to release glucose. Cortisol is a glucose mobilizing hormone. It wants blood sugar up. Insulin wants blood sugar down. You have two major hormonal systems pulling in opposite directions. At the exact moment, both are peaking. The result is what I call a cortisol collision. Your cortisol spike gets amplified. Your insulin response gets exaggerated. Your blood sugar rises higher than it should, and then because of the exaggerated insulin response, drops faster than it should. So by 10 a.m., you're already reaching for more coffee. By noon, you're exhausted. By 2 p.m., you're hitting a wall that no amount of willpower can push through. And here's the part that matters the most for women over 40 specifically. Your cortisol awakening response changes as you move through perimenopause into menopause. It becomes more reactive. The spikes get higher. The drops get more erratic. So a study published in the Journal of Psychoneuroendocrinology found that women in perimenopause showed a cortisol awakening response that was significantly more dysregulated than premenopausal women, meaning the peak was sharper, the decline was less predictable, and the downstream hormonal effects were more severe. This is why the morning that felt manageable at 25, 35 feels chaotic at 45. It's not you, it's your cortisol rhythm. And you've been inadvertently disrupting it with the first meal of the day. There's also a second reason why eating too early is particularly problematic for women over 40. And it has nothing to do with blood sugar. It has to do with progesterone. Progesterone is your calming restorative hormone. It is also the hormone that begins declining first as you move through your 40s. And progesterone is acutely sensitive to cortisol spikes. When cortisol goes up, and especially when it surges more than it should because of that early morning eating pattern, it directly suppresses progesterone production. The two hormones operate on a kind of seesaw. Cortisol up, progesterone down. Cortisol up, progesterone down. This is one of the reasons so many women over 40 describe that wired but tired feeling. High cortisol in the morning, low progesterone to buffer it. The result is a nervous system that can't fully settle, a sleep that never feels restorative, and anxiety that seems to come out of nowhere. You are not anxious because something is wrong with you. You are anxious because your cortisol is disrupting your progesterone and your morning routine has been making it worse. So, what does this mean practically? It means that the first 90 minutes after you wake up are not your eating window. They are your cortisol window. And your job in that window is to support your cortisol awakening response, not fight it, not override it, not bury it under food. It does not need yet. When you allow your cortisol awakening response to completely naturally rise, peak, and begin to decline without the interference of food, several things will happen. Your cortisol peak is cleaner and more controlled. It rises appropriately and begins its decline earlier in the morning. This means lower cortisol by afternoon, better mood throughout the day, and a more restful evening. Your progesterone is protected. Without that exaggerated cortisol spike, your progesterone has the hormonal space to do its job, keeping you calm, grounded, and able to sleep. Your insulin sensitivity improves because you're not asking your insulin to respond during your cortisol peak. Your cells now are more receptive when you do eat, meaning your blood sugar stays more stable for the remainder of the day. And your hunger signals, they recalibrate. One of the things I hear more often from women who implement this is that once they stop eating immediately upon waking up, their genuine hunger signal, not the cortisol-driven pseudo-hunger, becomes much clearer. They begin to eat when their body actually needs fuel rather than in response to a hormonal surge they've misidentified as hunger. Now, I want to be very clear about what the 90-minute window is not. It's not fasting. It's not skipping breakfast. It's not depriving yourself. It is not a diet. It is simply a delay, an intentional, hormonally informed delay. You are still eating. You are eating well and purposefully. You are simply shifting when that eating begins to a time that works with your cortisol rhythm instead of against it. And in that 90-minute window, you are not doing nothing. You are doing something far more powerful for your hormones than any food could do in those first minutes. So here's what that window looks like. First, natural light. Within the first 10 minutes of waking up, before your phone, before getting outside or opening your curtains to full natural light, your cortisol awakening response is actually enhanced by morning light exposure. The light signal tells your brain's master clock exactly when it is, which anchors your cortisol peak and sets your melatonin countdown for that evening. 10 minutes, free, non-negotiable. Second, water. 16 ounces of water before anything else. Add a pinch of sea salt, maybe a squeeze of lemon if you have them. You are mildly dehydrated after 8 hours of sleep. Your blood is thicker. Your adrenal glands, which produce cortisol as well as DHEA, and your sex hormone precursors are asking for electrolytes and hydration to function properly. Give them that before you give them caffeine. Which brings me to coffee. I know this is the part you've been dreading. Coffee in the first 30 minutes of waking, which is when most people drink it, is adding a caffeine-driven cortisol spike on top of your already peaking cortisol awakening response. You are essentially doubling the spike. Wait. If you absolutely cannot go without your coffee, wait at least those 90 minutes if you can manage it. Drink your water first. Let the awakening response peak and begin to decline naturally. Then have your coffee and it will feel different, more like a gentle lift and less like an emergency. Although I recommend remove the coffee altogether. Third, Perform some type of movement, not exercise movement. A 10-minute walk outside, a few minutes of just gentle stretching, some short breathing, a kind of gentle movement in the morning actually helps cortisol metabolize more efficiently. It gives the hormone somewhere productive to go rather than letting it pull and just dysregulate through your system. Fourth, protect this window from stress. Honor this time. Your cortisol is peaking. Every stressor you add in those first 90 minutes, difficult emails, news, conflict, phone calls, social media, amplifies that spike. Keep that window clean. This is your reset window. This is your window of opportunity, your window of hormonal balance. Let it do what it needs to do without adding it any pressure, load, and unnecessary resistance. So, you've done your 90 minutes, the light, the water, the movement, the clean window. Your cortisol has peaked and it's beginning its natural decline. Your hunger signal is now genuine, not cortisol driven. Now you eat. And now, because your hormonal environment has shifted, your body is ready to receive food in a completely different way than it was 45 minutes ago. Your insulin sensitivity is better, your cortisol is lower, your gut motility has activated, your digestive enzymes are ready. You're eating at the right moment, and what you eat in that moment becomes significantly more powerful. Now, let me give you what I call the hormone reset plate. 3 elements, all 3 every morning. Element 1, protein. This is the number 1 most women are nowhere near at breakfast. And protein is very important because it will stabilize your blood sugar for the next 4 to 5 hours. And it supports progesterone synthesis and provides the amino acids your adrenals need to recover from that cortisol surge. What does this look like? Possibly give yourself some full Greek yogurt, organic eggs, some leftover protein from the night before, some cottage cheese, some salmon, some nuts. Next, a healthy fat, half an avocado, some extra virgin olive oil over your eggs, a handful of walnuts, Brazil nuts, some pumpkin seeds. And this fat is not the enemy. This fat is actually the raw material that your body uses to synthesize your sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, all built from cholesterol, which comes from your dietary fat. So women who are chronically eat low-fat diets are literally depriving their bodies of the materials needed to make the hormones they so desperately need. And fat will also flatten your blood sugar curve, reduce your insulin response, and extend your feeling of not being hungry throughout the morning. And then the third is fiber, in the form of dark berries, leafy greens. Fiber is very important because it feeds your estrobolome, the community of your gut bacteria responsible for metabolizing and balancing your estrogen. When these bacteria are not fed, your body either clears estrogen too quickly or it recirculates too much of it. So both directions create symptoms: hot flashes, mood instability, bloating, weight gain. So daily fiber for breakfast is one of the most direct ways you can support your estrogen metabolism, this estrobolome. So what is not included for your breakfast? I would say the oat bowl with dried fruit, the smoothie in the morning, the low-fat flavored yogurt, the granola bar, the toast slathered with jam, because they are high glycemic, low protein, and exactly what your recently settled cortisol system does not need. So before I let you go, I've been working with women over 40 for a very long time. And the women who come to me are not women who haven't been trying. They have been trying. They've been doing the smoothies and the oats and the early breakfast because they genuinely believed and they were told that this is what healthy looked like. And they come to me exhausted, frustrated, feeling like their bodies are working against them. Like no matter what they do, they cannot get stable. They cannot optimize. They cannot feel like themselves again. Can't get energized. Can't think clearly. Can't get through the day without the afternoon crash and the evening anxiety and the heart palpitations. And they wake up and the weight gain that won't move no matter what. And the first thing I tell them is the same thing I'm telling you right now. Your body is not broken. It is not betraying you. It is simply responding correctly to the inputs it has been given. The inputs were wrong, not you. The cortisol window, the reset plate, the 90 minutes, these are not restrictions. They are not discipline. They are respect for the biology you are actually living in right now. They are choosing to work with your hormones rather than unknowingly working against them. And your body responds to this very quickly. I want you to know this. This is not a 6-month project. Women who implement even the first 2 steps of this, the window and the water, often notice something shifting within 3 to 5 days. Better energy through the morning, a mood that feels more stable, a hunger that feels cleaner, more like actual hunger and less like a craving that comes out of nowhere and drives the day. Your hormones are listening. They are waiting. They just need different information. Today, you gave them some information. Here's what I want you to do tomorrow morning. 3 things, just 3. Number 1, when your alarm goes off, get outside, open your curtains before you pick up your phone, 10 minutes of light. That's it. Number 2, drink your water. Drink your water. Pinch of salt, squeeze of lemon, not cold water, warm water. And wait 60 to 90 minutes after waking. 3, use this time to reset, move, gentle movements. And when the 90 minutes have passed, eat your reset plate, the protein, fat, the fiber, every element every morning. Do these 3 things starting tomorrow, just tomorrow, and let me know how you feel. And if you want the full 30-day plan, the complete hormone reset guide, go below and get your guide. Completely free, link in the description box. Download it right now. Start tomorrow. And if this episode gave you a tidbit of new information, a shift, a recognition, a sense of finally understanding what your body has been doing, please share it with one woman in your life who needs to hear it. That is how we change the conversation around women's health, one woman at a time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I'm Lydia Atlas. This is the Thriveology Show. I will see you next week. Blessings to you.